DD India News are India's voice to the world. I'm Dipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds productive discussions with Jordan's king in Amman, shares 8-point vision on trade, critical minerals, nuclear cooperation. PM Modi appreciates Jordan's anti-terrorism stance, calls it a strong strategic message to humanity, reaffirms India's support for efforts being made to achieve durable peace in West Asia. National Investigation Agency names 7 accused, including park handler, in April 22nd Pahalgam terror attack charge sheet. Ukraine-Russia peace deal closer than ever, Trump says after talks end in Berlin. US says Ukraine could get guarantees similar to NATO's article. Significant differences remain over territorial issues. Trump sues BBC for defamation over editing of January 6th speech, seeks $5 billion for each of the lawsuits, 2 counts. And on to the details now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived in Amman on Monday, receiving a ceremonial welcome by Jordanian Prime Minister Dr. Jafar Hassan, marking a key moment in India-Jordan ties. Members of the Indian community in Amman gave a warm reception with cultural performances highlighting strong people-to-people links. Prime Minister Modi held talks with King Abdullah II, noting 75 years of India-Jordan diplomatic relations and calling for deeper cooperation. DD India's correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya has more on this.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi arrived in Amman, marking a landmark moment in India-Jordan relations. In a special gesture reflecting the depth of bilateral ties, PM Modi was warmly received at the airport by Jordan's Prime Minister. Members of the Indian community in Amman gathered in large numbers to welcome the Prime Minister, waving Indian flags and raising spirited chants of Modi Modi and Bharat Mata Ki Jai. As he arrived at his hotel, PM Modi greeted the crowd, interacted with children and witnessed a vibrant cultural performance, highlighting the strong people-to-people connect. During the visit, Prime Minister Modi held comprehensive discussions with Jordan's King Abdullah II bin Al-Hussein.
Your Majesty,
expressing gratitude for the warm hospitality, PM Modi noted that India and Jordan are celebrating 75 years of diplomatic relations this year. He said the milestone would inspire renewed momentum in cooperation.
इस वर्ष हम अपने राजनयिक संबंधों की 75वीं एनिवर्सरी मना रहे हैं। यह मील का पत्थर हमें आने वाले कई वर्षों तक नई ऊर्जा के साथ आगे बढ़ने के लिए प्रेरित करता रहेगा। मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि आज की बैठक से हमारे संबंधों में गति और गहराई एक नया रूप धारण करेगी। हम ट्रेड, फर्टिलाइजर्स, डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी, इंफ्रा और पीपल टू पीपल टाइज जैसे क्षेत्रों में सहयोग आगे बढ़ाएंगे।
The Prime Minister also praised Jordan's positive role on Gaza and reiterated a shared, firm stand against terrorism, extremism and radicalization.
गाजा पर शुरुआत से ही आपकी बहुत सक्रिय और सकारात्मक भूमिका रही है। हम सभी की आशा है कि इस क्षेत्र में शांति और स्थिरता बनी रहे। आतंकवाद के विरुद्ध हमारा साझा और स्पष्ट रुख है। आपके नेतृत्व में जॉर्डन ने आतंकवाद, उग्रवाद और रेडिकलाइजेशन के खिलाफ पूरी मानवता को एक सशक्त और रणनीतिक संदेश दिए हैं। रिस्ट्रिक्टेड बैठक के दौरान हमने इस महत्वपूर्ण क्षेत्र में सहयोग को और मजबूती देने पर चर्चा की।
King Abdullah II described the visit as a reflection of decades of friendship and mutual respect. He said the partnership has expanded across sectors, and this visit offers an opportunity to chart new paths of cooperation in industry, pharmaceuticals, agriculture, energy, and other promising areas, benefiting the people of both nations.
This visit reflects decades of friendship, mutual respect, and productive cooperation between our two nations. Our nations enjoy a strong partnership and a shared desire to advance prosperity for our peoples. And over the years, our collaboration has expanded across multiple sectors. Your visit today provides an important opportunity to chart new paths of economic cooperation across industry, ICT, pharmaceuticals, agriculture, energy, and many more promising fields of mutual benefits for our people.
Prime Minister Modi's Amman visit signals a renewed momentum in India-Jordan relations as both countries look to strengthen their partnership for the future.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Jordan underscores the growing depth of India-Jordan ties. With strong political trust, especially in economic cooperation and shared commitment to peace and moderation, both nations are set to take the 75 years of partnership to new strategic level. With camera person Ashish, this is Taposh Bhattacharya for DD India from Amman, Jordan.
Well, India and Jordan held delegation-level talks in Amman. Both sides held a wide range of discussions in areas of mutual and regional issues. In opening remarks, Prime Minister Modi said that both nations enjoy a strong partnership and both sides have agreed to take positive ideas for taking India-Jordan relations to new heights.
इस वर्ष हम अपने राजनयिक संबंधों की 75वीं एनिवर्सरी मना रहे हैं। यह मील का पत्थर हमें आने वाले कई वर्षों तक नई ऊर्जा के साथ आगे बढ़ने के लिए प्रेरित करता रहेगा। मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि आज की बैठक से हमारे संबंधों में गति और गहराई एक नया रूप धारण करेगी। हम ट्रेड, फर्टिलाइजर्स, डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी, इंफ्रा और पीपल टू पीपल टाइज जैसे क्षेत्रों में सहयोग आगे बढ़ाएंगे।
And Jordan King Abdullah II bin Al Hussein said that Prime Minister Modi's visit reflects decades of friendship, mutual respect and productive cooperation between the two nations. He added that today's visit provides an important opportunity to chart new paths of economic cooperation.
This visit reflects decades of friendship, mutual respect and productive cooperation between our two nations. Our nations enjoy a strong partnership and a shared desire to advance prosperity for our peoples. And over the years, our collaboration has expanded across multiple sectors. Your visit today provides an important opportunity to chart new paths of economic cooperation across industry, ICT, pharmaceuticals, agriculture, energy, and many more promising fields of mutual benefits for our people.
And for more on this, we have DD India correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya joining us from Amman. Well, Tapas, the first question I would like to ask you is to discuss the outcomes and the strategic importance of Prime Minister Modi's visit to Jordan for our viewers.
So, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit is being seen as a milestone, especially as India and Jordan mark 75 years of diplomatic relations. The strong symbolism from a ceremonial reception to the warm diaspora welcome sets the tone for a deeper engagement. Substantially, the leadership level talk signals a push to broaden cooperation beyond the traditional areas into trade, digital technology, then infrastructure and people-to-people exchange. This visit is expected to add strategic depth and long-term direction to the partnership.
Well, also, Tapas, what are the key pillars of Indian-Jordan cooperation and why are they important in the current West Asian regional context? Discuss the significance of the India-Jordan relations in promoting regional stability and peace, especially.
So trade, technology and security are central to India-Jordan cooperation, particularly in a region facing multiple challenges. Both sides actually share a clear stance against terrorism, extremism and radicalization. And Jordan's role in promoting moderation is widely appreciated by India, in fact the whole of West Asia. Economic cooperation in areas like ICT, fertilizers, energy and pharmaceuticals can also create a tangible benefit for both the countries. Together, these discussion underlines a partnership focused on stability, growth and regional peace.
All right, Tapas, thank you so much for all those details. And moving on, Prime Minister Narendra Modi shared a video on his X account highlighting a special welcome in Amman. India and Jordan will keep working closely to further global good. And moving on, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on Tuesday co-chaired the 16th India-UAE Joint Commission and the 5th Strategic Dialogue with the UAE Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan in Abu Dhabi. Now, during the meeting, the two sides comprehensively reviewed their comprehensive strategic partnership and identified key priorities for future cooperation. During the dialogue, the External Affairs Minister highlighted the significant growth in bilateral trade, investments, fintech and digital connectivity following the implementation of the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, that is CEPA, in 2022 and the Bilateral Investment Treaty in 2024. He also underlined the vast potential in connectivity and logistics, both bilaterally and through initiatives such as IMEC. Now, Dr. Jaishankar said the two sides also discussed expanding energy collaboration with a particular focus on civil nuclear cooperation, as well as consolidating defense and security cooperation. Other key areas of engagement include strengthening educational ties, enhancing cultural exchanges and people-to-people linkages, and exploring new frontiers of cooperation in critical minerals, space and polar research. The discussions also covered closer coordination in multilateral fora and trilateral mechanisms, reflecting the shared strategic outlook of the two countries. The Indian External Affairs Minister also called on UAE's Vice President Sheikh Mansour bin Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan on Monday in Abu Dhabi. In a social media post, Dr. Jaishankar stated that discussions were focused on strengthening economic and defense cooperation during his meeting with UAE VP Sheikh Mansour. And still to come, DD India News Hour. Mass suspect remains at large after Brown University shooting leaves 2 dead, 9 injured. Hong Kong court convicts media tycoon Jimmy Lai of foreign collusion as US and UK voice concern. A levee breach near Seattle prompts evacuations as heavy rains trigger widespread flooding. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipak Shikuran, and moving on, US President Donald Trump said a deal to end the Russia-Ukraine conflict was closer than ever as European leaders proposed a multinational force to enforce a possible peace agreement. Now, the remarks follow talks in Berlin with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky and leaders from Britain, France, Germany, and NATO.
And I think we're closer now, and they will tell you that they're closer now. We had numerous conversations with President Putin of Russia, and I think we're closer now than we have been ever. And we'll see what we can do. We want to save a lot of lives. We sell equipment to NATO. We don't spend any money, but we do want to see if we can save a lot of lives.
Well, European leaders backed US-supported robust security guarantees, including continued military aid to Ukraine and a US-led ceasefire monitoring mechanism. US officials said the guarantees would be similar to NATO's Article 5, under which an attack on one ally is treated as an attack on all. Zelensky said talks showed progress, but differences remained over the territory. Russia said it was awaiting details from Washington on the proposals discussed in Berlin and reiterated its core demands, including opposition to NATO expansion. And EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said on Monday that talks in Berlin involving European leaders and Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky represented real and tangible progress towards ending the conflict in Ukraine. She stressed that close coordination between Kyiv, Washington and Europe was essential to secure a lasting peace that safeguards Ukraine's sovereignty.
Real and concrete progress. That progress is made possible thanks to the alignment between Ukraine, Europe, and the United States. So we will continue working closely with President Zelensky and President Trump to achieve what we all want: a just and lasting peace that preserves Ukraine's sovereignty and strengthens its security. Finally, one of the strongest long-term guarantees is also the clearest one. It's Ukraine's path into the European Union. These security guarantees must be underpinned by firm principles. We will respect the decisions Ukraine makes for itself. Decisions on territories are for Ukraine to take, and Ukraine alone.
Well, US President Donald Trump sued the BBC for defamation over edited clips of a speech that made it appear he directed supporters to storm the US Capitol, opening an international front in his fight against media coverage he deems untrue or unfair. Now, Trump's lawsuit alleges the BBC defamed him and violated a Florida law that bars deceptive and unfair trade practices. He's seeking $5 billion in damages for each of the lawsuit's 2 counts. The BBC has apologized to Trump, admitted an error of judgment, and acknowledged that the edit gave the mistaken impression that he had made a direct call for violent action, but it has said there is no legal basis to sue. And U.S. President Donald Trump on Monday signed an executive order designating fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction, significantly broadening federal powers to combat the synthetic opioid responsible for tens of thousands of overdose deaths annually in the United States. Now, the unprecedented move treats fentanyl not just as a public health emergency, but as a national security threat comparable to chemical weapons. By elevating its classification, the administration aims to intensify action against criminal networks accused of trafficking the drug into the country.
With this historic executive order I will sign today, we're formally classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction, which is what it is. No bomb does what this is doing. 200 to 300,000 people die every year that we know of. So we're formally classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction.
Well, moving on to U.S. shooting updates now. A gunman remained at large after a weekend mass shooting at elite Brown University left 2 dead and 9 wounded, with U.S. authorities releasing new footage of a masked person of interest captured on surveillance cameras. Now, the shooting took place on Saturday in a building where exams were underway on the Ivy League campus in Providence, Rhode Island, when a man with a rifle burst in and opened fire before fleeing. Authorities initially detained a man in connection with the shootings, but they later released him, saying he was unconnected. An Australian resident urged tougher gun laws on Tuesday after a mass shooting that killed 15 people during an event at the weekend for the Jewish festival of Hanukkah at Sydney's Bondi Beach. Among the victims from Sunday's shooting were a rabbi, a Holocaust survivor, and a 10-year-old girl. 25 survivors remain in hospital, 6 of whom are in critical condition. The victim, aged ranging from 10 to 87. Alleged gunman was killed by the police, while his alleged accomplice and son is in hospital with gunshot wounds suffered during an exchange of fire with the police. Now, Australia's gun laws are now being examined by the federal government after police said the older man had 6 registered weapons and had held a gun license since 2015. Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke said gun laws introduced by the previous Conservative Liberal National Coalition government in 1996 following the Port Arthur massacre needed to be re-examined. And Hong Kong's High Court found media tycoon Jimmy Lai guilty of conspiracy to collude with foreign forces in the city's highest-profile trial on Monday that could see him jailed for life. Now, visiting Washington, Lai's daughter, Claire Lai, said that her father's death in the prison would cause lasting harm to Hong Kong's reputation, but declined to comment on whether she had contact with U.S. officials since the verdict.
My father is a 78-year-old man in failing health. I mean, this would be the humanitarian and the right and the honorable thing for China to do. If my father dies a martyr in prison, it will be a stain that they will never be able to erase. Over 30 senators signed a letter to President Trump and prior to that, over 50 senators signed a letter to Prime Minister Starmer across the political aisle to raise the issue of my father in his trade talks with President Xi. We hope that our father continues to be brought up.
Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump expressed deep regret over Jimmy Lai's conviction and urged Xi Jinping to consider his release.
I feel so badly. I spoke to President Xi about it, and I asked to consider his release. He's not well. He's an older man and he's not well, so I did put that request out. We'll see what happens.
Well, early in October, Donald Trump had raised Lai's case with Chinese President Xi Jinping in a meeting, and he said he would do his utmost to save Lai. The case has attracted global attention, raising concerns over Hong Kong's judicial independence amid a prolonged crackdown on rights and freedoms since the 2019 pro-democracy protest. Jimmy Lai has spent nearly 5 years in prison while facing multiple cases under the national security law imposed out of the 2019 protest. Britain called for Jimmy Lai's immediate release, denouncing his prosecution as politically motivated. And the son of Hollywood actor and filmmaker Rob Reiner has been arrested and charged with the murder of his parents after they were found dead in their home over the weekend. Nick Reiner is currently being held at the Twin Towers Correctional Facility in Los Angeles, California. Reiner was arrested on Sunday night and is being held in jail with no bail, the police department said in a press release. Jail documents earlier showed bail had been set at $4 million. Police found Rob Reiner, the director of beloved movies like When Harry Met Sally, and his wife Michelle dead at their home in the upscale Brentwood neighborhood of Los Angeles on Sunday afternoon. The Los Angeles Police Department said the investigation determined that the Reiners were the victims of homicide and their son was responsible for the deaths. Nick Reiner was arrested later on Sunday night. And thousands of protesters rallied in Slovakia's capital against the abolition of the country's whistleblower protection office and hastily adopted penal codes changes they say undermine EU rule of law. Since his return to power in 2023, Nationalist Prime Minister Robert Fico has faced a series of protests over his government's moves, curbing rights in the country of 5.4 billion people. Now, the latest protest came after Slovakia's parliament approved further amendments to the penal code, including restricting who can be a cooperative witness in investigations. Slovakia's rank in Transparency International's annual Corruption Perceptions Index dropped several places last year, with the country ranking among the most corrupt in the EU last year. And in Mexico, a Cessna Citation 3 private jet crashed in Toluca, resulting in 6 fatalities on Monday. As per the preliminary reports from the state of Mexico's civil protection authorities, the aircraft had departed from Acapulco heading to Toluca, carrying 8 passengers and 2 crew members. It was confirmed that the fire triggered by the crash has been contained, with cooling and debris removal operations ongoing. Authorities have advised the public to stay away from the crash site while the cause of the accident is being investigated. And some weather updates now. Emergency officials on Monday urged evacuations for residents near the northwestern U.S. city of Seattle after a levee breached from heavy rains in the region. The Decimeni levee breached along the Green River in Tukwila, Washington, a suburb area of Seattle. The National Weather Service issued a flash flood warning for more than 46,000 residents of the area. The flooding caused several highways to close in the area, with evacuations snarling traffic along other routes out of the city. The Washington National Guard is deploying troops in help with evacuations near the breached levee. Heavy rains have been battering the Pacific Northwest region of the United States and West Asia of Canada for several days, causing widespread flooding and evacuation. Well, a flash flood in a Moroccan coastal town of Safi has killed at least 37 people as search and rescue operations continued on Monday. The National Weather Service has warned of more thunderstorms over the next 3 days in Safi and other regions. A surge of muddy water swept away cars and trash from the town streets. Schools will remain closed for at least 3 days as streets are blocked by mud and debris. The flooding affects at least 70 homes and businesses in the historic town centre. Authorities, through the Moroccan prosecutor's office, have launched an investigation to determine if anyone is accountable for the damage. Morocco, already suffering from drought, frequently experiences extreme weather, but Sunday's floods in Safi have become the deadliest in over 10 years. And now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. The models for 6 temporary stained glass windows designed by French artist Claire Tabaret for Notre Dame de Paris are now on display at the Grand Palais. The colorful display designs offer a preview of the final works, which are scheduled to be installed in the cathedral in late 2026. Tourists and local residents gathered at Las Canteras Beach in Spain on Monday to admire the stunning 20th anniversary edition of the sand nativity scene. Sculptors from 10 different countries have been working for several weeks to shape the monumental sand scenes, which is now attracting thousands of visitors. Famous illustrator John Howe is opening a new exhibition in Neuchâtel, Switzerland. Around 270 of his works will be on display in the medieval prison-turned museum for a year. Visitors can explore his Tolkien-inspired creation and watch Howe at work in his studio. And still to come on DD India News Hour. India slams Pakistan at UN Security Council, calls it global epicenter of terror. Key reform bills to be introduced as Parliament's winter session continues. And India marks Vijay Diwas, honouring the courage and sacrifice of 1971 war heroes.
Embark on a timeless journey. Unravel the mysteries of a grandiose era. A treasure trove of royal and sacred complexes, temples, shrines, pillared halls, mandapas, rock-cut memorials and more. A spectacular setting of rugged landscape and exemplary workmanship, representing the best of Dravidian architecture. Every structure carved out as a unique artistic creation. A heritage landmark that reflects pure magnificence, integrated within its natural environment.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Kunal, time now for a quick recap of the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds productive discussions with the Jordan's king in Amman, shares 8-point vision on trade, critical minerals, nuclear cooperation. PM Modi appreciates Jordan's anti-terrorism stance, calls it a strong strategic message to humanity, reaffirms India's support for efforts being made to achieve durable peace in West Asia. National Investigation Agency names 7 accused, including park handler in April 22nd Pahalgam terror attack charge sheet. Ukraine-Russia peace deal closer than ever, Trump says after talks end in Berlin. US says Ukraine could get guarantees similar to NATO's article. Significant differences remain over territorial issues. Trump sues BBC for defamation over editing of January 6 speech, seeks $5 billion for each of the lawsuit's 2 counts. And moving on, India observes Vijay Diwas every year on December 16th to mark the win over Pakistan in the 1971 war. On this day, people across the country honour the courage and sacrifice of the armed forces. Vijay Diwas is first and foremost a tribute to the soldiers who showed bravery during the 1971 war. It keeps alive the memory of their sacrifice and service to the nation. Vijay Diwas brings a sense of unity and pride. It reminds citizens of the importance of protecting the country's freedom and respecting those who defend it. And President Draupadi Murmu paid her tributes to the brave hearts. On X, she wrote, and I quote, "On the occasion of Vijay Diwas, I pay my humble respects to the brave sons of Mother India. Their courage, valor and unparalleled devotion in the motherland have always filled the nation with pride. Their heroism and patriotism will continue to inspire the people of the country. The Indian Army's empowerment through indigenization initiative reflects a commitment to being prepared for future challenges. In Operation Sindoor, the Army has demonstrated self-reliance, strategic resolve, and the effective use of modern warfare techniques, which serves as an inspiration for the entire nation." I extend my best wishes to all soldiers and their families. Jai Hind, unquote. Prime Minister Modi on X wrote, and I quote, on Vijay Diwas, we remember the brave soldiers whose courage and sacrifice ensured India had a historic victory in 1971. Their steadfast resolve and selfless service protected our nation and etched a moment of pride in our history. This day stands as a salute to their valor and a reminder of their unmatched spirit. Their heroism continues to inspire generations of Indians. Well, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh also on X wrote, and I quote, on Vijay Diwas, the nation bows in pride and gratitude to the Indian Armed Forces who delivered the decisive victory of 1971. The Army, Navy and Air Force operated in flawless coordination, reshaping history and asserting India's strategic resolve. Their valor, discipline and combat spirit continue to inspire generations and strengthen our national will, unquote. Well, Bangladesh is celebrating its victory day today. On this day, 1971, Bangladesh was liberated from the Pakistan-occupied forces after a 9-month-long blood-stained war of liberation. To commemorate the Liberation War of 1971, India and Bangladesh's invite each other's war veterans and serving officers to participate annually in each other's Victory Day celebrations. The 54th anniversary of the Liberation War, 8 valiant Mukti Jodhas and 2 serving officers of Bangladesh Armed Forces arrived in India on Monday to participate in Vijay Diwas celebrations at Kolkata. Similarly, 8 Indian war veterans and 2 serving officers of the Indian Armed Forces reached Dhaka to participate in Bangladesh's Victory Day celebrations. In fact, these bilateral visits provide a platform for Bangladesh Mukti Jodhas and Indian war veterans to celebrate the unique friendship and the 2 countries and to renew memories of the Liberation War. And India calls for more reforms in the United Nations Security Council to make it fit for purpose to tackle contemporary challenges, which is an urgent global imperative.
India would like to make the following points. First, the primary responsibility for maintenance of international peace and security rests with the Council and its membership. Second, structural and systemic elements in the 8-decade-old architecture of the Council act as retardants in efforts to maintain international peace and security. Third, leadership for peace should be the guiding mantra for the ongoing UN 80 reforms initiative to enhance efficiency, effectiveness and relevance of the UN and multilateral system. Fourth, the new Secretary General must embody the aspirations of the overwhelming majority of humanity who are from developing countries of the global south. Fifth, leadership by definition must be inclusive for it to be representative, legitimate and effective. Sixth, India takes note of the recent efforts by the large majority of member states to bring in greater transparency and predictability in the election process of UN Secretary General.
And India once again slammed Pakistan in an open debate on leadership for peace in the United Nations Security Council. India's envoy to UN, Parvataneni Harish, has said that Pakistan is a global epicenter of terror, needs to credibly and irrevocably end its support for cross-border and all other forms of terrorism.
A serving non-permanent Security Council member that chooses to further this obsession in all meetings and platforms of the UN in pursuit of its divisive agenda cannot be expected to fulfill its designated responsibilities and obligations. With abiding faith in multilateralism, India reiterates that we stand ready to contribute towards working for peace, security and prosperity for all.
While giving a befitting reply to Pakistan on its unwarranted reference to Jammu and Kashmir in an open debate, Ambassador Harish Parvataneni also stated that Pakistan has a unique way of respecting the will of its people by jailing a prime minister, by banning the ruling political party and by letting its armed forces engineer a constitutional coup.
Pakistan, of course, has a unique way of respecting the will of its people by jailing a prime minister, by banning the ruling political party and by letting its armed forces engineer a constitutional coup through the 27th Amendment and giving lifetime immunity to its Chief of Defense Forces. Let me be clear. India will counter Pakistan-sponsored terrorism in all its forms and manifestations with all its might.
And moving on to some other update on Pahalgam attack, the National Investigation Agency filed a charge sheet against 7 accused in the Pahalgam terror attack, naming Pakistan-based Lashkar-e-Taiba and the Resistance Front among those responsible. The charge sheet submitted before the NIA Special Court in Jammu outlines Pakistan's conspiracy, roles of the accused and supporting evidence. The charge sheet mentioned the banned LET and TRF as entities involved in planning, facilitating and executing the attack that claimed 25 tourists and 1 local civilian. And updates on winter session of Indian Parliament now. Apart from other legislative businesses, 2 important bills will be introduced in the lower house of today. The Viksit Bharat Guarantee for Rozgar and Ajivika Mission Grameen Bill 2025 that seeks to replace the existing rural employment law MG Narega is set to be introduced in the lower house today. A major insurance reform bill called the Sabka Bima Sabki Raksha Amendment of Insurance Laws Bill 2025 will also be introduced in the lower house of the Parliament. The bill aims to expand insurance coverage and improve protection for the policyholders. Further discussion on election reforms will be held in the upper house of the Parliament today. And India's Union Minister of Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal addressed press conference on development of energy sector, highlighting India's transition to clean energy, self-reliance in production and rationalization of coal linkages. Goyal also highlighted India's achievement in the energy sectors.
हमने रैशनलाइज किए कोल लिंकेजेस और उस समय 2014-15 में 5,000 करोड़ से अधिक बचा था देश का। और ये सब जो मैं बचत बता रहा हूँ, ये सब पारदर्शिता, ये अल्टीमेटली कंज्यूमर को लाभ दिए। सोलर पावर जैसे मैंने बताया पिछले 11 वर्षों में 46 गुना बढ़ा है, 46 times.
Well, the wholesale price inflation stayed in the negative for the second consecutive month in November at minus 0.32%. Wholesale price index-based inflation was at minus 1.21% in October and 2.16% in November last year. However, on an annual basis, the negative rate of inflation during November was primarily due to decrease in prices of food articles, mineral oils, crude petroleum and natural gas, manufacture of basic metals and electricity. Food articles continue to witness deflation for the past 8 months beginning in April. And Prime Minister Modi, who was in Jordan on the first leg of his 3-nation visit, shared on X that the outcomes of the India-Jordan agreements mark a meaningful expansion of the India-Jordan partnership. Our cooperation in renewable energy reflects a shared commitment to clean growth, energy security and climate responsibility. Collaborations in water resources management and development will help us share best practices in conservation, efficiency and technology, ensuring long-term water security. The twinning agreement between Petra and Ellora opens new avenues for heritage conservation, tourism and academic exchanges. The renewal of the Cultural Exchange Program 2025-29 will deepen people-to-people ties, sharing our digital innovations with support Jordan's digital transformation and promote inclusive governance. And in a shocking turn of event in Uttar Pradesh, where at least 4 people were killed and dozens injured after a collision involving 7 buses and 3 cars on the Yamuna Expressway in the early hours of Tuesday. Preliminary reports suggest that the victims were charred to death after the buses caught fire following the crash. Police said heavy fog and low visibility led to the pile-up involving multiple vehicles. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Asian stock slide as investors await key US jobs data, dollar near 2-month lows. All set for IPL 2026 auction in Abu Dhabi, 350 players to go under the hammer. And the world lights up with joy as Christmas festivities kick off globally.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome back. You're watching TD India News. I'm Lipak Shikuran, and on to some business news now. Asian stocks tumbled while the dollar drifted near two-month lows on Tuesday as investors adopted a cautious approach ahead of a slate of U.S. data, including the jobs report that may help gauge the trajectory for Federal Reserve policy next year. The defensive mood kept risk assets under pressure, including Bitcoin, which hit a two-week low in the previous session. In equity markets, MSCI's broadest index of Asia-Pacific shares outside Japan was down by 1% in early trading. Tokyo's Nikkei and South Korea's benchmark index both fell over 1%. And Ford Motor Company has announced that it will take a $19.5 billion write-down and discontinue several electric vehicle models, marking a major shift in its EV strategy amid weakening demand. The automaker said it will stop production of the F-150 lighting in its all-electric form. Instead, Ford plans to focus on gas and hybrid vehicles while gradually expanding its workforce. The write-down spread through 2026 to 2027 includes $8.5 billion for cancelled EV models. The move reflects declining U.S. EV sales, which fell 40% in November after the federal tax credit expired, and policy shifts easing fuel economy rules. Ford's future EV strategy will focus on more affordable models while the company pivots towards hybrids and gas-powered vehicles. While you're watching TD India News, our time now for some sports news. The Lionel Messi GOAT India Tour 2025 lit up Delhi with a spectacular football celebration at the Arun Jaitley Stadium. Lionel Messi, accompanied by Luis Suarez and Rodrigo de Paul, spent time with Minerva Academy youngsters, interacting with them, posing for photos and taking part in brief rondo session. Messi also met ICC Chairman Jay Shah, Delhi Chief Minister Rekha Gupta and DDCA President Rohan Jaitley.
The final leg of the Lionel Messi GOAT India Tour 2025 concluded in grand style at the Arun Jaitley Stadium in New Delhi. An exhibition match between Minerva Messi All-Stars and Celebrity Messi All-Stars set the tone for the Delhi leg. The friendly contest was played in front of a packed and buzzing crowd. Fans witnessed a lively game filled with entertainment and footballing flair. A penalty shootout session added more excitement and kept the spectators on their feet. Lionel Messi later spent quality time with youngsters from the Minerva Academy. He interacted with the budding footballers and posed for photographs with them. Messi also joined the young players for a brief rondo session on the pitch, creating unforgettable moments. The football icon also met ICC Chairman Jay Shah, Delhi Chief Minister Rekha Gupta, and DDCA President Rohan Jaitley. Jay Shah presented Indian cricket team jerseys to the guests as a symbol of sporting unity. Messi was gifted a specially autographed cricket bat, blending footballing greatness with India's cricketing legacy. Adding to the moment, Jay Shah invited Messi to the upcoming T20 World Cup and presented him with a ticket. The Delhi leg of the tour celebrated not just Messi's greatness, but also the growing bond between the sport, youth, and inspiration in India.
And with that, Lionel Messi's GOAT tour to India 2025 draws to a close. From Kolkata to Hyderabad and from Mumbai and finally the capital, the visit has ignited passion, belief and ambition among football fans and young players alike. The event is over, but the inspiration Messi leaves behind is set to shape countless dreams across India. Narayan Singh for DD India, New Delhi.
Has been ruled out of the remaining 2 T20 internationals against South Africa due to illness. Akshar Patel is with the team in Lucknow, where he will be further medically stressed. The selection committee has named Shahbaz Ahmed as his replacement for the T20 internationals in Lucknow and Ahmedabad. Akshar played the first 2 T20 international matches for India against the Proteas and picked up a total of 3 wickets. Akshar's replacement Shahbaz has played 3 ODIs and 2 T20s international for India, but his last appearance for the men in blue was against Afghanistan in Angzhou during the Asian Games in September 2023. And the Indian Premier League 2026 auction will host 350 players to go under the hammer as teams aim to complete their requirements ahead of the upcoming season. The auction will take place at the Etihad Arena in Abu Dhabi, with the first 70 cricketers set to be called out manually by the auctioneer on Tuesday. Over the course of the day, 238 uncapped players will be up for grabs, while only 77 spots are available across the 10 franchises. Many big names like Cameron Green, Venkatesh Iyer, Liam Livingstone are in the auction pool and are expected to fetch a whopping sum at the auction. 3-time champions Kolkata Knight Riders will be coming in with the biggest purse of $7.1 million. And India's Shefali Verma has been named the ICC Women Player of the Month for November, following her excellent performance in the ICC Women's Cricket World Cup 2025 finals. Her remarkable all-round display, which included a fluent 87-run knock and crucial wickets, was pivotal to India's maiden World Cup title, drafted into the squad as a late replacement for the injured Pratika Rawal. Sharma delivered a standout all-round performance on the biggest stage. South African off-spinner Simon Harmer has edged out strong competition to win the ICC Men's Player of the Month award for November 2025 for his splendid performance in the series against India. The right-arm spinner outshone Bangladesh's Taijul Islam prestigious award for the first time. Harmer received the accolade following a commanding test series against India, in which he was also named Player of the Series, playing a key role in South Africa's landmark 2-0 triumph. Across the 2 matches, Harmer claimed an impressive 17 wickets, guiding South Africa to comprehensive victories in Kolkata and Guwahati. And with less than 2 weeks to Christmas, Santa runs and festivals are spreading holiday cheer across the globe this weekend. From Manila to Shanghai and Taipei and even bar crawls in the Tokyo, Christmas celebrations in cities around the world are bringing together fitness, fun and charity in family and friendly celebrations. Manila is coming alive with colorful lights and glittering decor across the capital as the Philippines' early Christmas season officially begins. Throughout the country, the holiday spirit kicked off with malls and public spaces unveiling festive displays and holiday-themed events, setting the tone months ahead of December. The German Christmas market in Shanghai is a popular holiday attraction that sells out entrance tickets and draws large crowds each year. One of the most popular stalls this year, with over an hour-long queue, sold cotton candy shaped into Christmas tree and snowmen. Shanghai Disneyland also kicked off their annual Frostival, including a musical Christmas tree lighting program and winter-themed decor. In New Taipei City, hundreds of people crowded the circus-themed Christmas land on Tuesday night to celebrate the winter season. The popular Christmas fair in Bangkuao district attracted visitors from across Taiwan and abroad, featuring large-scale light displays, festive decorations and installations. The Fog Snow was a big hit with the visitors as people of all ages played and posed for the photos. Tokyo welcomes Christmas with dazzling illuminations and decorations ahead of December 25th. Japanese capital puts up lights on trees and sets up art installations for its residents and visitors to enjoy the annual festival mood. One of the most popular spots drawing crowds every night is Kyakizaka Illumination, where the street is lit up by about 930,000 LED lights on trees leading to the famous landmark Tokyo Tower. Well, hundreds of people dressed as Santa Claus took to the South Ridge Slope in Newry, Maine, skiing together to raise money for two local charities. The Santas gathered and then skied down Broadway for sideline spectators. The event raises money for the River Fund, a non-profit that creates educational and recreational experiences for students and the families. That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, we can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.